Hello and welcome to Football Fun. I'd just like to show you where a League One team and one of the worst situated teams is Bolton, who starts off minus 12 points in a League One, how to get to the Premiership, the Premier League in 2 seasons. You will notice that I had a little bit of luck. I made the playoffs twice and won through. And now I'm making it to the promised land with Bolton. The key thing is that, as you notice as you walk through my save, you can obviously go back and have a look at the details. But the key point are to secure Premier League loans, and you will see the players towards the end of my video here. The loan signings that I made. You will notice if you do a save in League One, for example, you can only use on a match day up to 5 loans. I think I loaned, starting with Troy Parrott, about 7 or 8 loans. But what you can do, because the Championship, you quite often play two matches per week, so you can rotate, and you will be fitter than most other League One teams, and the same being said for when you get into the Championship. So it's best to have 7 or 8 loans, and some of them you will notice on your saves, if they're like mine, that you can get them with 0 wages. And that is a massive benefit to any League One team, but especially Bolton, who are in massive debt. You will notice that I've slightly gone over the wage budget, but that all makes good. When you get to the Premier League, most debts are wiped out. So it's a risk, but I would suggest that you go for Premier League loan players. You will notice in my Bolton save, when you get to the player pages, that the Premier League loan players are my best players. So I would always play 5 out of the 7 or 8 every match day. Another key point is that I went to, and I must give credit to FM20. I downloaded, I think, 1 or maybe 2 tactics which have been tested and proved to be, successful. I also made up the third tactic myself, which was successful also. The thing is that you have to be ruthless to start with in League One. And I think one of my best players was AMC, attacking midfielder, and he didn't fit into my tactics. So basically, I didn't, sell any players at a profit. But you have to not play these players. You try to loan them out, or just don't play them, because you have to be ruthless. And basically, majority of the players, at Bolton, for example, are not good enough to get promoted out of League One, and it's sadly been highlighted in real life where they're, I think, due to get relegated. So you have to be ruthless and bring in the players. I've done a lot of research, gone through a lot of videos, and FM sites. You find out, and you build up your own shortlist, and then you go after those. And as I said, try to get them on 0 wages or very low wages. As I said, I mentioned Troy Parrott. I was lucky to get Ryan Brewster at the end of the first transfer window. So, Daryl Murphy, for example, big target man who didn't fit into any of my 3 tactics, didn't play much. So, and you have to go through that and sort of play your best 5 players every time. As I say, the other key point about it is having two, maybe three tactics, because you will, if you're like me with Bolton, you do get dips in progress, and you'll see it later on in the screen where you go for 2 or 3 wins, you get the odd draw, and then you have a few losses, and you can't pick the players up again. The other key point about especially playoffs, a lot of people don't seem to realise with the training, most of them leave it to their coaches, but the thing to do is to click on a button with match training, and just before both playoffs, I went through all 5 options each time, and that makes a massive difference. The other thing is that per player, I don't know if you know this, if you go to training screen, keep praising them, even if the level barometer is sort of a 7 out of 10, but even some they're getting 6 out of 10. They say, why me, boss? But just praise everyone, just pat on the back, and their performance will go up. You will notice, hopefully, at the end, and took us, playing at Wembley, took us to the Premier League. I did, with Bolton players, the back 4 remained, and I did renew their contracts, and that helps team spirit, bit continuity. They're not the best players, but they did perform generally, and they mix in with the top loan players. Possibly my 4th key point are staff. Paul Bracewell is a pretty decent assistant manager, but wasn't my first choice. I kept on trying to get some better staff, but as you go through, you see David Platt, Gerardo. He's an excellent coach. You got some good goalkeeping coaches. So if you pick those up, you can leave the training to them, and everything's hunky dory. So yes, staff are. I'm always on the lookout for good staff, and as within 2 seasons, that's fantastic. I felt a bit bad. David Flitcroft, who you start with, assistant manager, got us to Wembley, etc. But he just wasn't doing the right things. And as I said at the start with League One, you do have to be ruthless. Sentimentality. You just won't get promoted, in my opinion. If you look at our fixture schedule, as I say, it does look patchy. But if you can see towards the end, we had a great run, and that's when I changed the tactics. I don't know whether it's the match engine or whatever, but with FM, it does seem that you go on a good run, and then your tactic gets a bit tired, or probably found out by clubs, teams. So it's good to have 3 tactics which are worked on. Another key point I didn't realise till quite late on is to make sure the tactic that you change to is your primary trained tactic, so that you can pick that up, you accelerate that quicker, and that's what I did for the playoffs, just before the playoffs when we had that good run. And now we come to my transfers. You will see that, like, for example, I made maybe an error. Biro couldn't get a work permit, so maybe we will, but now after 2 years, get a work permit, but he may not be ultimately good enough for Premier League. But as you see, there are some average players. Bring in free transfers, you can loan them out. get some money back. But yeah, the players in, you just showing there Troy Parrott, Troy Parrott and Rhian Brewster, for me, they were good, but they did have dips. So you have to, because they're young, they're young, and they won't perform every match. Kone there, he was a bit hit and miss. I thought he had promise, but again, he was free, brought in free. Now, as Azevedo, he was quite annoying because the board would only let me sign him for 1 year, and yeah, he turns out to be pretty good. Mayer is a fantastic. I think he scored the winner versus Sheffield United at Wembley to take us to the Premier League. Fantastic player. Ogbeta, he's an average player, but I'm not sure whether he'd be good enough for the Premier League. Adiat Yemi, he's a good Championship player, like Ogbeta. Gilmore, fantastic player. He does have a dip because he's, again, young. James Garner, I brought him in January, made the difference. Gribbin never got going, bit weak, but good Championship player. Mensah, I had him on 2 loans, League One Championship. He was pretty good. Same with Angerin, hit and miss, but they do make the difference in certain matches. So these are all good signings which will make a massive difference in League One and a difference to the Championship. As I said with Biro, we 30k. We didn't actually. He came in free, didn't lose out. It's not much money, but it's best to loan them out as you do need with work permits. Sergio, probably not going to make the grade for the Premier League. He's pretty good. He's good backup substitute. Nathan Wood, excellent centre back. And this Fruchtel, the goalkeeper, made a massive difference. But already I think he wants to leave. Landshut, who I did find myself, I brought him in because we lacked leadership and work rate. But yeah, he's been a good substitute, especially when Gilmore went off the boil a little bit. So this one's for the future. Bradell. He's only 17, but he's showing good promise. He needs match experience, match practice. This one, Garby, he's a disappointment because I brought him in quite expensive. Kashamoya, I can't say that, but he shows promise. Good ball playing defender. Dronfield, he's probably under 23s. Carley will be a good left wing back in time. I think he will progress. And Device, these are all like Dronfield. Device was free. We should be able to sell them for some profit, and they make a difference. Again, Gullickson looks a good prospect. Under Glean again, under 18s, and then moved up to under 23s. Kosobev, my new head of development, suggested him, and he is a great winger. Lewis is one English player, and again, should be good for the Premier League as backup. Winterburn. Probably will be sold because I will have to bring in, especially if Fruchtel wants to leave, I'll have to bring in 2 goalkeepers yet again for the Premier League. But that's where, the excitement will build. I will be looking to survive in the Premier League for at least 1 or 2 seasons, wipe out the debt, and then build for like mid-table. But the main thing is get into the Premier League. Yeah, now I show that some of the players, like they showed promise in League One, like Politic, for example. They're just hit and miss, and they're not consistent performers. So they invariably have to go. You just have to, as I say, be ruthless. And the key point is in this save, it was a challenge to take a League One team. Arguably, Bolton, although they had good facilities, I've just noticed now, in relationship to Premier League, we're just good. facilities, training facilities for youngsters. So it was a good big club to take on, but it was a challenge. Minus 12 points, League One, in debt. So I think, I believe, if you follow these principles, you too can make it with any League One team. Take them to the Premier League. Thank you for watching Football Fun.